The grand court of Eryndor shimmered under the twin moons. Ornate towers spiraled into the starlit sky, their silver accents catching light like knives. Inside the palace's crystal throne room, Princess Kaelira stood draped in a gown spun from the silk of sky beetles, her chin held high though her heart beat like a caged bird. Tonight was the choosing. One by one, royal heirs from across the galactic empires would offer their hands in alliance to Kaelira, Princess of Eryndor, mistress of the Sky Rings, sole daughter of the dying King Torvin. She was brilliant, bold, unmatched in strategy and speech. But there was a catch. Kaelira was born with no gift. On Eryndor, every child of the royal bloodline developed a birth gift, fire from the hands, the power to walk dreams, to bend metal or move the seas. But Kaelira, she had none. Her mind was sharp, her body trained, but to the aristocracy, she was a failure of blood. And worse, she had refused every suitor until now. The crowd watched as nobles stepped forward. First came Prince Joa, with skin like molten rock and eyes of burning coals. "Princess Kaelira," he boomed, "join me. My realm shall give you the power you were denied at birth." She smiled. "And become your accessory?" "No, thank you." He hissed and retreated. Next came Lady Virel of the Nebulith courts, her voice like crystal wind. "We shall rule side by side," she said. "But I will speak, and you will smile." Kaelira tilted her head. Tempting. No. Suitor after suitor was turned away, each offering kingdoms, power, fame. None saw her. None listened. Until the room fell into murmurs. The final name on the list was called human. Eryndor. No titles. Heads turned. He stepped forward slowly. Slender. Taller than most, with unruly black hair and a poorly fitted tunic. No glowing eyes. No floating crown. Just scars on his knuckles and a defiant glint in his gaze. A ripple of laughter moved through the throne room. "What's this?" sneered the High Commander. "A slave. A joke." But Kaelira's eyes narrowed. Eryndor walked forward without bowing. "Princess," he said simply, "I have no kingdom. I don't want yours. I have no magic, no riches. But I do know what it's like to be unwanted." He stopped at the foot of the dais. "I watched your choosing," he said. "They all want your crown. None care about you." Kaelira descended the steps. Silence fell. "And what do you care about, Eryndor?" she asked. He smiled softly. "I care that you're still standing. After all that rejection. After being born without what they say you must have." Gasps echoed. Murmurs rose. She turned to the crowd. "He has no power. No title. No throne. And yet, he's the only one who saw me." Her voice rang out, clear as a bell. "So I choose him." The court exploded. Shouts of outrage. Laughs of disbelief. But she raised her hand and silence followed like a snapped tether. "If you question my right to choose, then question the throne," she said. And with that, she took Eryndor's hand and walked out of the court. The backlash was immediate. Her advisors threatened resignation. Her father, bedridden, said nothing, just looked at her with hollow eyes. The people whispered about betrayal, about shame. But Kaelira did not flinch. She appointed Eryndor as her consort protector, a title made up on the spot. She taught him royal etiquette, and he taught her how to build a fire with her bare hands. "I'm not fragile," she said as they trained in the gardens under a rust-red sun. "I never thought you were," he said, parrying her strike. Nights passed. He slept outside her chambers, a blade tucked beneath his pillow. Rumors painted them lovers. Enemies. Fools. But in truth, they became something rarer, partners. One night, they stood at the edge of the Sky Ring balcony, watching ships glide across the horizon. Do you regret it? He asked. Choosing me? She shook her head. I've never chosen anything for myself until now. Not my life. Not my place. But I chose you, and I've never been more certain. He looked at her for a long moment. You know, he said, back in the human territories, I was conscripted to serve the Magister Lords. They called us animals. Cannon fodder. I never thought I'd mean anything more. She touched his hand gently. You're not cannon fodder now, she said. You're the man I trust with my life. But peace does not favor defiance. A coalition of rejected suitors soon formed the Gilded Rebellion. They called Kaelira unfit. Claimed her bloodline was broken. That the human had corrupted her. They launched their assault during the morning of King Torvald's death. Explosions rocked the palace walls. Betrayers from within opened the gates. Kaelira's guards fell, outnumbered. In the chaos, she and Eryndor fled to the royal vault, where ancient weapons of the old empire slumbered beneath layers of time. We can't run, she said, breathless. They'll burn Eryndor to ashes. We're not running, Eryndor replied, prying open a hidden panel in the vault wall. I learned something during my years under the Magisters, old machines, old tech. I've seen this before. He activated a dormant war suit, half organic, half metallic. It pulsed to life, surrounding him in armor made of living flame and bone. You'll die, she whispered. He leaned close. If I do, remember this, I was nobody, until you believed in me. Let me repay that. Then he turned and ran into the fire. The battle was legend. Eryndor cut through enemy lines like a fury. Not with magic, but with grit. Tactics. A soldier's discipline. His very presence broke the enemy's resolve. Kaelira led the charge beside him, her voice rallying the defenders. With blade in hand, she fought not as a princess, but as a general. The Gilded Rebellion shattered. And when dawn broke, their flags were burned, their leaders captured. Eryndor had survived. A month later, the coronation. Kaelira stood beneath the celestial canopy, crowned as High Queen of Eryndor. Beside her stood Eryndor, not as a consort, nor a curiosity, but as the royal blade. The human no one wanted had become the sword of a world reborn. In her first decree, she declared the Council of Bloodline invalid, abolishing power based on gifts. In this new era, she said, we honor strength of character, not the accidents of birth. Cheers thundered. And as she turned to Eryndor, their hands clasped, her voice softened. I chose you when the world said I was wrong. And I'd choose you 1,000 times again.